Just hours from now, Scots will go to the polls to determine the future of their country. It's a truly historic vote. After 307 years of union with the United Kingdom, Scotland could decide to become an independent nation. In a moment, we will talk to Scots on both sides of the issue, including an actor from the movie Braveheart. But we begin with CCTV's Richard Bestic in Edinburgh. Richard, thanks for being with us. We've just got a few hours to go before polls open on this independence referendum. What are you hearing right now? Is it still too close to call?
It is absolutely too close to call. It's remarkable, isn't it, Anand, that after 2 years since the British Prime Minister David Cameron gave the go-ahead for this referendum in what was called the Edinburgh Agreement, during which most of the time the no vote was way ahead, suddenly within the last week or so it turned, the vote turned, and now there's just a couple of percentage points separating them. They are marginally outside the area for error. And now, of course, in the last hours of frantic campaigning here in Scotland, across the Highlands and Lowlands of the place, we see them targeting, we see the no and the yes campaign, targeting that estimated 600,000 voters who either haven't said or don't know how they're going to vote, because they are the ones that could determine the future of Scotland, the future of the United Kingdom, whether that building behind me, Anand, becomes the world's newest national parliament, or whether on Friday, after all the votes are being counted and the result is in, it's UK business as usual. We just don't know. You're absolutely right. It is too close to call.
Well, we have David Cameron, the British Prime Minister, who's leading the no side of the campaign. Let's take a listen to what he said in his last appeal, I would imagine, to voters. Let's watch this.
This is a decision that could break up our family of nations and rip Scotland from the rest of the United Kingdom. And we must be very clear. There is no going back from this, no rerun. This is a once and for all decision. If Scotland votes yes, the UK will split and we will go our separate ways forever.
All sounds very dramatic, Richard, and I guess it is, but are David Cameron's words having any impact on voters?
Well, if you look at the polls, since he made that speech, there has been a marginal move forward for the no to independence vote. Certainly, the Prime Minister, David Cameron, will be hoping he is having some impact, because it's not just the future of the United Kingdom that's on the line with this vote. If he were to see the breakup of the UK on his watch while he was Prime Minister, then certainly his job would be on the line too. So he did come here, he did make a very emotional speech, he did have those strong words as well, saying this isn't time for a protest vote, this is forever, this is independence, there won't be another vote like this within a generation, so let's get it right. And his argument was vote no.
Okay, Richard, we just have a little bit of time left. Let's talk about the generation gap. To what extent will the youth vote impact this referendum?
Intriguing. For the first time, 16-year-olds are going to be voting, so clearly there's no pattern of return on how they will vote. I think the yes campaign is saying that the younger the voter, the more likely they are to vote for independence. However, I saw another report out today suggesting that young people from ethnic minorities were wary of a schism, an ethnic schism that could develop if you get this broad Scottish nationalism taking hold. So it's one of those areas where we are watching very carefully, but they are an unknown factor. Part of that unknown factor that is making it very difficult to call this result either way.
Thanks, Richard. CCTV's Richard Bestic there reporting from Edinburgh in Scotland.